Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And in today's video, we will solve another LeetCode problem. So let's take dive in. We'll solve it step by step so that you can strengthen your coding skills. So today we are going to talk about this question: add different ways to add parentheses. In this question, we will be given a string, and we have to find out what are the possible solution of what are the possible ways in which we can add this parenthesis and get the results. For example, in the first example, we have been given a string 2 minus 1 minus 1, and we have to find out how many ways we can uh, set up the parenthesis so that we can get different values of this expression. For example, in the first thing, we can get 0 and 2 in the if we give parenthesis between 2 and minus 1, if we solve that first, we are going to get 1, and then minus 1 is going to get subtracted, and we are going to get 0. Other value that we can get is if we add first parenthesis between 1 and minus 1, then we will get 1 minus 1, that is 0, and 2 minus 0 is 2. So these are the two possible solution that we can get for this example. Let's take another example. In the second example, we have been given a string like 2 multiplied by 3 minus 4 multiplied by 5. We have to add parentheses in such a way those parentheses are going to get treated first, and then subsequently the other parentheses are going to get solved. And we have to find out how many possible solution we can get. For example, in the second example, we are getting minus 34, minus 14, minus 10, and 10. Like you can see in the explanation, we can get minus 34 if we add the first parenthesis between 4 and 5. 4 multiplied by 5, which is 20, and then second between 3 and minus the value that we are getting from 4 multiplied by 5, which is minus 23 minus 20 is minus 17 multiplied by 2 is minus 34. So this is the first. The second ways we can solve this question is that if we add the parenthesis between 2 and 3 and subtracted by 4 and 5, if we add those two parentheses between 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, then we can get 2 multiplied by 3 is 6 minus 5 4 multiplied by 5, which is minus 20. 6 minus 20 is minus 14. So in this way we can get minus 20, minus 14. So we have to find out what are the solution, what are the possible ways, and what will be the solution we can get by adding these parentheses in a form of vector or list or string or array. Sorry. So this is the question. So this question is actually very easy. So the approach that we are going to use for solving this question, a few more things that you should notice before straight diving into the solution is like the constraints. First of all, the constraints are very small. For example, the expression length is very small, like from starting from 1 to 20 only. So it means also the integers are ranging from 0 to 99. So there is not even triple digit number, only single and double digit integers are there. So basically what this constraint basically hinting us is we can we can recursively find all the possible solution that we can get, because even if we use recursion, because the constraints are very small, the total number of computation is not going to be very high. So this is the first thing that you should have noticed. And the we can use recursion to solve this problem. This approach should have came in your mind. If the constraint would have been like very long, like 10 to the power 1 from starting from 1 to 1000 or 10,000, then we could not have used recursion. This thing can only come from practice. So for this question, because the expression length is small, so we can use recursion, and like we can solve all the possible solution that we can get for each of the string, and we can store that into a vector basically. So we are going to solve this question in C++. So roughly what we are going to do is we are going to break this string into multiple strings. We are going to break that string whenever we are finding any symbol in the sense like the operations, let's say like operations like subtraction, addition, or multiplication. Whenever we are going to get to that character, we are going to break the left side of the string and the right side of the string and find out the possible values for the right side of the string and left side of the string in a form of vector. And then we have whatever operation is in between, we are going to find out the final result by using, yeah, by multiplying that by using that operation between the two list of vectors of integers, basically. Sorry. So this is our approach. This is the approach that we are going to use. So if you understand what my like logic and the rough layout of the code that I'm going to use, then the solution would be like pretty clear. So what first of all, I created a function in which, yeah, before that, I created a map. As you can see, I have created here a map. That map, what basically is doing is actually is acting as a, a key, like the key is going to be that string, and that key in that map key is going to store a list of vectors which are going to contain the values that the parentheses that the string are going to produce by multiplying or you operating in different by using different ways of adding parentheses. So initially, like the string expression which is given as an input, we are going to take that and we have to find the vector of the possible solution of that string. So what we did for that, like we have created a function which is taking that expression as an that expression string as an input, and that map is also given as an input, and that map is going to store all the possible values for any string, for all the possible vectors multiplication that we are going to get inside that string as the key. So this is the function. So this function is very straightforward as well. If you go through the function step by step, it's the first if statement is basically checking if the input, we are basically finding whether that input, that various string is already calculated or not. If that's already calculated, then we are not going to go inside the function because we already have the value of that string. So we are going to return that list of vectors directly as an output, and we are not going to go further. So memo.find input, if that's not equals to end, memo.end, if that's not it going through the end, it means we already have that the vector of that expression inside the memo map. So we are going to return that value, otherwise we are going to go inside the function now. So basically, I created a vector of int as the result vector, in which I am going to store the result of the current expression that we have. So for that, what I did, I used the for loop, which is going from I equal to 0 to the maximum size of the input string, basically. From I equal, and it's first of all, it's checking whether that that character of that string, whether that's whether that's a integer or or a symbol or operator, basically. So if you see that this if is operator input I, this basically is checking whether this value is string or not. if that value is if that value is a symbol or not. Sorry, if that value is a symbol or not, like symbol as in plus, minus, or multiplication, which is uh, multiplication sign. If that value is a multiplication symbol, then we are going to go inside the if statement. If it's not, then we are not going to do anything. Like we are going to go to the next element of the string, next character basically. So if that symbol or that character is a operation like plus, minus, or multiplication, then we are going to go inside the if statement. And what we are going to do, like I said earlier, we are going to separate left side of the string and the right side of the string, and we are going to find out the resulting vector from that using a recursion function. So let's see. So this part is basically calculating. First of all, it's breaking the complete input string into substring from initial to the point where we have found that symbol, operation, symbol, whatever. And that string is going to go into the input of the same function using recursion. And also we are going to send that memo map as well. And this vector result pre. So this is going to store the pre results of the left side, basically the of the string. So this vector is going to store the values that we are going to solve by solving that part of the string. And basically prefix part of the string. And this vector is going to save the suffix part of the string, like the right part. So for that, we are giving input it's a substring which is starting from I+1, which is just the next character of the current symbol that we found, from there to the end. And we are going to save the value inside this vector. Now, once we have the vectors for the prefix string and the suffix string, then we are just going to, like I said, like we are just going to multiply whatever the symbol was in between, whether it's through cross multiplication or addition, addition, or subtraction, or then we are going to one by one take the element from the right left string and use multiply, or whatever the symbol is, like operation is, we are going to do to the right side of the uh, vectors. So we have, for that we have used two for loops, starting from j equal to 0 to j less than the size of the left side of the prefix side, and similarly from k is nested for loop. Case the second for loop starting from k equal to 0 to the size of the suffix vector. And if that value is addition, then we are adding it. If it's subtraction, then we are subtracting it and pushing that value inside the result the vector that we initialized for this, saving the result of the current expression. And this is just what this for loop does. For each of the uh, character, when that character is the operation, like plus, minus, multiplication. Now, let's say when we are dividing this string into those parts, where we are dividing this string into left and right part, when we are finding a symbol, what happens if we are not finding any symbol? There is only digits now. In that case, this for loop is not going in for loop, none of the function, because this if statement is basically checking that only. Yeah, right. So in that case, this for loop is not going to run. In that case, this part of the function is going to run. This part of the function is what this part of the function is checking, is basically like if the size is not equal to 0, and the result size is not, is there is nothing inside the result, and the size of the input is 1, like there is only one character in the string. In that case, what we have to do, like there is a single digit number, so we are going to take that character and subtract it by 0 character. Basically, 0 character is when we are subtracting that value, that character with a 0 character, it's going to give us a integer value. Like let's say that character is 5. When it's 5 character, there is like the value of that character is, I guess, um, 69, some 61 or 60 added by some number. I'm not sure if that value is 60. Like the value, the ASCII value, basically ASCII value of 0, whatever that ASCII value of 0 is, then we are like the value of ASCII value of 0 character is 69 in terms of input, or 60, 61 or 62 something in terms of input. Then let's say the character of value, character integer for 5 is 61 plus 5. Then when we are going to subtract the ASCII value of 0, then we are going to get the number basically. You can check in the internet why this works in the internet as well if you are confused in that case. Otherwise, this is the way we are pushing a single digit when we have just a single digit inside the result vector. And also we have checked, we could have only a single digit or a double digit integer. If we have a double digit integer, then this way we are pushing the double digit number, like multiply the first character by 10 and then adding with the second character, and this way we are going to save the value of the results. And finally, whatever the input string is, we are going to save that inside our memo map as the like memo input. Input is basically the string and is equal to result, which is the vector. So this string, this map is going to save all the result vector that we got for this case. And finally, we are going to return result. Like this is the final output vector for that string. So this is how we are going to solve this question. This is pretty much straightforward. I don't think this is any like a difficult question or anything. Like this is a classic medium level question, but sometimes a lot of company asks this and checks whether you are taking the you are able to find out the recursive steps or not. And this is it, guys. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment with your thoughts or questions. Keep coding, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.